In this video, I'm going to be ranking the Sidemen charity match players from both the Sidemen FC and the YouTube All Stars. If you saw our last video, you saw that myself and my fiance Jade went to the charity match. We did a vlog. The video's doing really well, so I thought, why not do another video about the match? I'm going to be purely basing these ratings on what we saw in the game. We've both not watched the stream back as of yet. We are going to do that, but I've not heard any commentary. I've not seen any ratings, so I'm purely going to base it on what we saw. We sat in one of the corner flags. It was actually the flag where Ethan celebrated his first goal. So we actually had really good seats. There was a lot of action down that end, and obviously the Sidemen were shooting our way in the first half, and then the YouTube All Stars was shooting our way in the second half. So we saw quite a lot of goals, quite a lot of action, and yeah, I'm purely going to base it on that. So I'm going to dive straight into it. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to use this created list on Tier Maker to put my players in different categories of legend, baller, icon, solid, meh, and what a life. I'm assuming what a life is why are you even there. The first player we're going to start with is Nico. Without even thinking about it, I think he was a solid player. He didn't do anything. He got the goal, but last year he got a couple of goals. I'm going to base these ratings on realistic as well as how they actually performed, because you know you're not going to get Premier League performances out of all of these guys, but at the same time they're in a football match with 60,000+ people, so they got to do something. I'm not by any means a football star. I played Sunday League and that was about it, so take these with a pinch of salt. This was just what we saw from our little corner in the game. But yeah, Nico definitely a solid player. Kai, interesting player. He got that goal that was offside, which was a nice finish. But other than that, he didn't really do a lot. So I'm going to put him in meh, because I don't think he was. It would be harsh to put him in what a life. Theo Baker is an interesting one, because I think if you watch that first 20 minutes before he got injured, he was one of the star players, and if he had played the whole game, I think the scoreline would be the other way round. So it would be harsh to put him low because he didn't play most of the game. But if you saw what he did in that first 20 minutes or so, he was a very, very good player. So I'm going to put him in baller. I think if he had played the whole game, he'd definitely be up in the legend. Speed is another interesting one. If you look at his performance last year, you could tell he hadn't been playing football very long. But this year, you could tell he'd been practicing, and he was so fast. He was up against Mr. Beast for quite a lot of the game, because Mr. Beast played left back, and obviously Speed was right wing. And every time he got the ball to him, he would get up, face him one-on-one, and just try and run round him. And most of the time he did. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in baller. A lot of people might disagree with that, but he had a very good game. I know he missed so many chances, and we got a really good view of the penalty. But I think he said in an interview that he was aiming for bottom left and he was just trying to get it on target, which you can perfectly understand. But he had so many chances because they were really trying to get him a goal, but he was so unlucky. I think he hit both posts, and there was another one that he got passed to him, and I can't remember who it was. It was either Cal Freezy, who got an insane block off the line. So he was very unlucky not to get a couple of goals. Angry Ginge, he is going to be our first legend player. He was phenomenal. Very, very solid defender. I used to play defence, so I've watched the defenders on this game quite a lot, and he did everything right. He didn't put a foot wrong. When he got the ball, his distribution was great. He would dribble it, take it past the player, then pass it off, or his long passing was really good. So he was one of my favourite players to watch. And from that game, I didn't really know who he was before, so I've started watching him now, and I really enjoy his videos. Ethan, again, another solid performance. I think he's a legend. I don't think he was quite on Angry Ginger's level, but he got the goal. And the rest of the game, he was very, very solid. I mean, it's a bit misleading because there's a solid category, but I'm not going to put him in there. He was very, very good. Cal Freezy, he can go in solid. I think, yeah, just behind Nico. He did his job in the defence. He also got that. I think it was him that got that block off the line. I'm really not sure. But he had a very consistent game. Nothing special, but didn't make too many errors, so you can't complain with that. Callux, he didn't really have a bad game, but again, I put him above Kai. He wasn't, you know, again, he didn't really do a lot. So you kind of forgot. I think players that you forget or you don't remember seeing them, which there are a few in this list, they can't be solid, so that he's got to go there. Chris MD, very, very good game. I'm going to put him just above Ethan. He obviously got the goal, their first goal, which he dribbled past. One of the defenders was Harry. Very, very solid game. I think if Theo was everyone's been saying it, if Theo was fit the whole game, you had him, Chris MD, and Philly in the middle, and they would have completely run the show. It would have been crazy. Danny Aaron's one of mine and Jade's favourite people. He is hilarious. Obviously wearing the GoPro. There was a moment where he was in our corner and he went to chest it down, but he had his GoPro, so it just sort of bounced off his GoPro and went out for a corner. Not a corner, a goal kick. But yeah, he had a good game. I'm going to put him above solid because he didn't just have a solid game. There was quite a few moments where he drove forward, and I think it takes quite a lot for a player to grab the ball and just drive forward and not panic. Or I know he had his shot that just went miles wide, but very, very good performance from him. Deji, he didn't do a lot at all. Again, he was quite a forgettable. He was playing. I'm going to put him in at the top of Mare. He was playing sort of winger, and he wasn't really tracking back, so you didn't really see a lot of him. And when he got the ball, he was making little passes, but he made quite a few bad passes. He lost the ball. So yeah, I'm going to put him in Mare. Gideon, I'm going to put him in What a Life. He clearly has not played football for very long. He handballed it, trying to pick it up for Ethan's goal, and the battle between Vic and Gideon down this left side, but especially where we were, it was crazy. You obviously had the littlest guy on the pitch and the biggest guy on the pitch, and both of them not the best at football, but it was really entertaining to watch. So yeah, I'm going to put him there, but I'm hoping he comes back again because he was very entertaining. Con, one of my favourite players. Not players, but people. I love his videos. I've been following his journey with his fitness and was so happy that he got to play. He didn't really put a lot in. I'm going to put him in Meh, but in terms of how rewarding it was to see him on there, it was fantastic. Carl, I'm going to put him in solid, bottom of solid. He was sort of playing right back at first for the All-Stars, so we did see him coming down our side. And he won the ball back a lot. He got it up the pitch a lot. He was doing quite a few balls up the wing. Yeah, he played okay. He played solid. Chunks, very, very good player. I think I'm going to put him just below Ethan. He is one of these players that if he doesn't need to run, if he could run, he would be the best player on the pitch by far. But he doesn't need to because he's always in the right place. He gets the ball. He can beat people. I mean, there was times he was turning 2 or 3 defenders at the same time. And then the passes he'd get off are just insane. So, yeah, definitely a top performance from him. Laserbeam, I absolutely love Laserbeam. He's amazing. But in terms of his footballing ability, I think it would be harsh to put him in Meh. I'm going to put him just below Carl in solid. Because he played a lot of the game. He was quite a rotation player, so he kept coming off and on. Because he's obviously not the fittest of the players. But he did his job in wherever he went. Nothing special, but nothing out of the... he didn't do anything too wrong. So, yeah, that's fair enough. KSI. Interesting game. He made a really good save towards the end. He obviously saved the penalty, so he didn't dive one way or the other. He spent a lot of the time in the second half when they were up our end trying to give Speed a goal, like with dribbling out. He went right up at the end. I think it would be harsh to put him in Meh because he did try. So I'm going to put him in solid, just above Carl. I think he did what he was meant to do in that role. He did make a really good save, and you can't really ask much. You know, the goals that were scored were legit goals, so you can't really ask a lot more from him, really. He was on the winning side, so. Randy, I'm going to put him just below Deji. He again, didn't really do too much wrong, but he didn't really do much with the ball. He didn't, you know, he wasn't a presence. You kind of forgot about him a lot, so yeah, I'm just going to put him in there. Manny, obviously a legend. He got the hat trick. I'm going to put him just below Chris, because I think Chris and Ginge had a better game than he did, even though he got the 3 goals. He obviously had the impact when he came on. He's lightning quick. He did what he was meant to when he came on, so you can't complain about that. Is this Eric? Eric, I think. He actually played a lot down our side, and I'm going to put him in icon just above Danny. He was quite a solid player. He obviously, you can tell he doesn't play football a lot, but he was winning the ball and then just running with it. And again, like I've said with a couple of other players, having that feature where you can just grab the ball and run is something that not everyone has, but is a very, very good attribute for just getting your team up, getting your defensive line up, and yeah, he was doing that quite a lot. Toby, again, did what he wanted, did what he needed to do. I'm going to put him just below Manny, but just above Ethan. He had a good game. He was playing with an injury, so he didn't play most of the game. But again, solid. You know what you get with Toby and Manny. It's when them two were both on the pitch together, it's ridiculous. Vic was a bit disappointing this year. I'm going to put him in solid, just below KSI. Oh, not just above, just below. He didn't get a goal this year. He was just sort of up front. When he was getting the ball, he was laying it off. Gideon did make his life hard on that wing, so maybe that played a part in it. But yeah, he just couldn't get into the game. In the first half, he was on the right wing, so he was down our side, and then on the other half, he come on the left, and he just couldn't get things going. When Manny was through, he could have given Vic Starr the goal if Vic was onside, but he just kind of lingered offside, so it was a harsh game for Vic. He just couldn't quite get into it. Willany, very solid performance. I'm going to put him in. Oh, where will I put him? I'm going to put him in icon just above Danny. He was up and down the pitch. Again, getting the ball, driving forward, making passes. He didn't do a lot wrong. Probably could have played a bit better, but yeah, he was a solid player. Harry had an absolutely cracking game. I'm going to put him just above Manny. Him and Ginge in defence was ridiculous. He obviously got his goal, which was a cracking goal. There wasn't a lot more he could have done, really. The only thing I would have said is when Chris turned him, he could have just jockeyed a bit more. But other than that, you can't really complain. And obviously that goal was against Chris, so what can you do? Max Foch, again, another one of mine and Jade's new favourites. He, with the Uno card, was hilarious. That had us all, the whole stadium was in stitches. And obviously it's created a meme now. He also scored that cracking goal, which we got a nice video of it in our last video. Yeah, very, very good performance. I'm going to put him in baller, just above speed. Very, very good game. I definitely want to see him come back. Philly, another good player. I don't think he had as much of an impact as last year. But again, I think so I'm going to put him in baller just below Theo. I think if Theo had stayed on the pitch, not injured, then them 3 would be probably the top 3 players on the list. He has that potential, but he was playing sort of a bit deeper so that he could get the ball and give it to either Chris or Theo. But obviously then when Theo went off, Philly's role was a bit sparse, so it didn't quite work as well as they wanted it to. Abofla, I think that's how you say his name, I'm really not sure. I don't really know who he is. Genuinely didn't notice him. The only reason I noticed him is because he came on with a cowboy hat on. He didn't do a lot, so I'm gonna put him below Gideon, because Gideon did give Vic a bit of a nightmare game. So yeah, didn't really notice him. Dennis, another one I don't really know of. He had an okay game. He made quite a few tackles. He was sort of sitting on the edge of the area quite a lot when they in the second half when the YouTube All Stars were pushing up, and you had quite a few players sitting on the edge of the box. He was one of them, winning the ball back. He had an okay game. I'm going to put him in solid, just above Laserbeam. If I can get him in. Yeah, he had an okay game. I didn't really notice him too much, but he had a good game. Simon, definitely in the legend category. I'm going to put him just below Manny. Last year, obviously, he had an insane game. Again, he's similar to Chunks in that he doesn't need to make the runs. He doesn't need to do that. He's like De Bruyne, where he can get the ball deep, make the long pass. He got the ball through to him a couple of times to run onto, but he just doesn't have that pace to get past the defenders. So he didn't really create too many opportunities. But I think when you watch the stream, you see a different side of it, because when you always see the camera where the ball is, so you'll see him. But off the ball, you can tell he's reading the game, but he doesn't make a lot of movement. So I don't think he has a good game as last year. Again, because I think it was a bit, the scoreline wasn't quite a representation of what how the game went. But yeah, he definitely still had a good game. Obviously, he's a very good player. XQC, I feel harsh putting him down here, but he didn't have a very good game. As a goalkeeper, conceding 8 is never good. He could have done a lot better. He looked like he was diving for the sake that he just had to dive. So yeah, he could definitely improve. Definitely. Jacksepticeye, I'm going to put him down here. Again, another one I didn't notice was playing. I know he started left back, so he was on the other diagonal to us, so we didn't really see a lot of him. But yeah, I didn't really see him, to be honest. JME, I'm going to put him in Meh, just below Con. He kept coming on and off, another one of the rotation players, but he didn't really do too much. Didn't really notice him, so I can't really have too much of a judgment on him. I know he was playing the other side of the pitch, so a lot of our judgments are based on the fact that, you know, they were on our side and we saw them. Josh, he had a good game. He kept trying to get his goal. Obviously, he's the only one that hasn't scored now out of all the Sidemen, so I'm sure next year he'll be up front and he'll be taking penalties. But yeah, he was up and down the pitch, a lot fitter than what he normally is. And yeah, he didn't do too much wrong other than not getting a goal, but the other team were stopping him. I'm not going to bother with these other people, the managers and the commentators, because obviously we didn't watch the stream, so we don't really know about them. I've heard the commentator was good, and they are always good. So the final player that I'm going to rate is Mr. Beast. He obviously, in the first half, was left back, and he was right in front of where we were, and he was solid. I know I said earlier about Speed kept knocking the ball past him, but although Speed was getting past him, he was getting back around him and just knocking him off the ball, getting the ball. Again, not the best distribution of passes, and he obviously knows this. He was doing a lot of short passes. He was, both Jade and myself were saying, one of the most solid players in the game. So I'm definitely going to put him at the top of baller. A lot of people will probably like, oh, because if you watch the stream, I'm assuming, he doesn't show what he was doing. And yeah, he had a very, very solid game. But yeah, this is my tier list. There's probably a lot of people that disagree with this, but this is my opinion on what we saw from our corner. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. It was a brilliant event. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and the sound when Ethan, especially when Ethan scored his goal, it was ridiculous. And the fact that he was right in front of us when he scored was something we'll never forget. It was really, really good. But yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like and let me know what you want to see.